What is up, guys? Welcome to another video, and thanks to Nate Brube5629, apologies if I'm butchering your name, we have our first Marvel Rivals What If character selection video, and who better to start it with than the Black Knight. First of all, we're going to start with a bit of a background. Dane Whitman, known as the Black Knight, embodies a legacy steeped in honour, chivalry, and a complex relationship with a cursed legacy. Stemming from a long line of knights, Dane grapples with the burden of a dark family history intertwined with the mystical ebony blade, a weapon passed down through generations. He is a descendant of Sir Percy of Scandia. Dane took on the mantle of the Black Knight to redeem his family's name tainted by his villainous uncle, Nathan Garrett. As the Black Knight, Dane relied on his intellect, combat skills, and the mystical powers of the ebony blade to battle evil and safeguard the world. The Black Knight's first appearance was Avengers 47 back in October 1967, and his creator was Roy Thomas and John Buscema. With the Black Knight's background out of the way, we now go into his in-comic abilities. He is a gifted scientist, an expert swordsman, a skilled martial artist, an expert horseman. He has an extensive knowledge of magic and is also a skilled tactician and strategist. Seeing as these are all of the Black Knight's abilities, we now have to have a think about what could possibly be his in-game abilities. Well, his main thing will obviously be his ebony blade. There's no way that he wouldn't be anything without of his sword. So at the moment, it's trying to think what subtype will he be. I would personally say that it would only come down to two of the subclasses, Vanguard and Duelist. Personally, I see the Black Knight fitting into both of these. I'd say if I had to be lent more towards one, I would probably say that he'd be lent towards the Vanguard class. Due to being a knight, obviously knights are very much protection, honour. I can see him with his ebony blade and a shield, that he would be an upfront tank very similar to Doctor Strange and Magneto. When it comes down to these what if videos, I'm always going to be talking about four specific things when it comes to the abilities. A passive, a main ability, a ranged ability, and their ultimate. Starting us off with the passive will be the Ebony Curse. I can see this being quite a interesting one, that it would be that every time he fights around a teammate, or at least two teammates, he's able to do like a necrotic damage or a cursed attack, which gives him a little bit more damage on his sword attacks. However, it only works if he is fighting with a team. If he's not fighting with a team member, it doesn't go off and it doesn't carry on pretty much. He always has to be fighting with someone to be able to get the Ebony Curse. For his main ability, it will be the Round Table Stances, where he will be able to pick from, say, 3 or 4 different stances, dependent on, say, a button input or a selection, where he will be able to go into a different stance, whether that be attack, defense, aggressive, or maybe even a more passive or subtle approach, where depending on what stance he's in is what attack he gets. He can go with quick attacks, slow attacks, really big heavy attacks, but he needs to be selecting it from the round table stances, and depending on what stance you pick is exactly what moveset you get. His ranged ability will actually be a mount that he's able to summon into the map called Valinor. Valinor is the Black Knight's horse and trusty steed, and I can see this being an ability where he is able to do like a charged attack, or is able to move around the map using them. The way that I would make it a ranged ability, though, would be him, because he has the magic knowledge and has a background in magical abilities, he can send out maybe a spectral form or a ghost form, or just actually Valinor as a ranged attack. So he's able to, it would be quite a powerful attack, so it would be on a cooldown, I would personally say, but maybe we could have it as a two-tone thing. Whereas a ranged attack, he can fire him out and Valinor will charge in, or he can have it that he triggers a second motion of the ability where he can ride in on Valinor and maybe like double the damage of the charge pretty much. So kind of a double-edged sword, I know, pun intended, but ranged ability and also a mount for speed around the map. And finally, the Black Knight's ultimate ability will be Excalibur's Embrace. This will be a power-up onto the Ebony Blade, and maybe have it that it's imbued with the cursed energy and also maybe a bit of a light energy aspect to it as well. Maybe have the actual sword itself increase in size, and for maybe a certain amount of time have it that the Black Knight can actually maybe double, triple or quadruple the amount of damage that comes out of his weapon. So while also being a vanguard Vanguard being a protective character, he does have that moment where he's able to output a lot of damage at the same time. Again, probably on quite a high cooldown more than likely, but I can see this being quite an interesting way to have an ultimate attack on a character with a sword. Is what better way than to have it as the sword being the increased ultimate ability. And that is our look at what if the Black Knight was added into Marvel Rivals. What do you guys think? Do you like the names of the abilities? Do you like the premise of them? Do you think he could have different abilities? Let me know down in the comments section, and also let me know who you think I should do this on next. I really enjoyed doing this video, and there are so many Marvel characters that I can think that they would bring to Marvel Rivals that I would happily sit here and make loads of these videos on your suggestions. So if you did enjoy it, please make sure you drop it a like. It really does help, and if you want to see more content like this, please drop a subscribe. But other than that, thank you very much for watching.